Thanks for listening to Dog Dish. Before we start, we'd like to say thanks to our sponsors. Porter's Pride is a raw, premium pet food with meats and vegetables locally sourced in the Pacific Northwest. Porter's Pride will ensure freedom from allergies, healthy weight loss, an increase in energy, and a reduction in the amount of stool produced. Find out more, check out Porter's Pride at porterspriderawdiet.com. That's porterspriderawdiet.com. And thanks to Addiction Pet Foods, they offer a complete range of cutting-edge foods that provide the most advanced hyperallergenic nutrition for dogs and cats around the world. Addiction is proud to have innovated the concept of using premium proteins such as free-range venison, salmon, kangaroo, and brushtail. Addiction Pet Foods. We go to the ends of the earth for your pets.
I'm Deborah Rosen. For the past 15 years, as founder and owner of Good Citizen Dog, I've been helping people to train their dogs using the science of canine behavior. What I'm going to do is help you create peaceful living with your dog.
Hi, I'm Dina. I'm producing Dog Dish with Deborah. I've been training dogs for over 10 years with the Good Citizen philosophy, and together we will help you create peaceful living with your dog.
Hi, Dee.
Hey, Dee. How are you?
I'm excellent.
That's awesome. It's a beautiful day today.
It is, and we have a beautiful topic.
I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to share with our audience what it is.
We're calling this one The Trouble Between Cats and Dogs. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I mean, the expression fighting like cats and dogs didn't originate for no reason, Dina.
Yeah, right. I think we have all seen a skirmish here or there, have we not?
Well, I've seen fights between the two species, and believe me, it's not pretty. So, most people who call me with this issue, Dina, and there are many, there have been many over the years, they don't know the first thing to do. And to be honest, the podcast isn't necessarily going to be able to help people who are in the midst of this crisis with this issue right now.
Well, and I do hope that they're not actually listening to us and having the midst of this crisis.
You're right.
So what would you share with them if they are having this issue outside of this fair moment in time?
Okay, so basically what we are going to help people think through is, and we're going to help them really get in front of this issue before they bring either a new dog or a new cat into their household with existing other animals. I know that, to be fair, most of the clients I've helped with this problem don't call me unless and until, the dog or cat are already installed and they're having these problems. And there's tension in the home, and the anxiety is already off the chart, and people are just really upset. One of their dear existing animals is at risk because of the new one that's coming in. So what I want to do is really, as I said, get in front of it and see if we can help people preempt this from happening.
That's great. So everybody get in your seats, get your popcorn in hand if you need it, because Deborah's going to offer actual situations that will help you through some experiences that she's had while training. Do you want to give them a couple?
I've had situations where, in fact, I remember one very specifically where there's an older cat and they had a dog already in the family that was a sibling of a dog that they were rescuing that they had already brought in more recently. And the original dog, which was a standard poodle, was fine with the cats. But they brought in this dog's sister, who was not doing well in its original situation. It came from a breeder. The breeder had adopted it out, or sold it rather, and the family they couldn't make it work. They got the dog back, and they took this client of mine took the dog in. And they brought it home, soon to find out. I mean, they didn't know.
Well, who would? Exactly.
They didn't know. So
Sure.
They came to find out that this poor older cat was constantly being tormented and harassed, charged after, lunged after, snapped at. It was really very, very unfortunate. And so they called me in, and at that point I had to start the whole series of counter conditioning and desensitizing actions or activities. There are people right now who are considering adding a new four-legged puppy or kitten to their household of pets.
Right.
And there are things that I would suggest that they do before they do this. I want to talk to our listeners who are considering this to help them prepare for the future.
Absolutely. And then we'll round back around about if you already have this situation.
Right. So, for example, the first thing I would definitely do, get one of the cat or dog's belongings that has the scent of that animal and bring it into your house so that you can drop the scent in.
Oh, see, they do everything with their nose. I can't imagine that wouldn't be one of the best tips ever. Nice.
Right.
Nice.
So that if you bring this newbie into the house, it's not completely, I mean, when a dog sniffs something that it remembers, it makes it a little bit more familiar.
I like that. That's a really good tip. What else, Deborah?
Okay, so, every time the dog, and in this case we're dealing with dogs more often than cats because we're dog trainers, it goes over, smells the item, you can interrupt anything that it's doing that you don't like with a correction, or better yet, if it does something you like, by just sniffing it, you pop a treat in the mouth, and then almost automatically you're saying what you're smelling is a really awesomely good thing.
Absolutely. And the beautiful back end of that is a dog's going to start chasing you down for another treat. So this became a whole lot less important.
All right. So now what? You want to do it and do it and do it until you can't stand it, and then you do it some more. And then say you do this for the better part of a week. Now it's time to bring the actual cat in. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd start with this cat in its crate. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, although the cat may feel at risk because it can't get out of the crate, it's really much safer than having it not in the crate.
That's dangerous.
Or if you don't have the cat secured, then it's going to bolt. And we all know what happens when a cat bolts. Dog wants to chase it.
Oh, that's not going to be good.
No. So we want to bypass all of that.
Yeah, we want to keep the china up on the cabinet, don't we?
Yeah, all that. So if the dog looks at the cat without doing anything nasty, then you're going to pop a treat in its mouth, and you're not going to wait more than a second.
Right. Our connection timing is very important. We've discussed that in past podcasts.
Yes, we have. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between 1 second and 2. After 1 second, if the cat does or the dog doesn't do anything and it gets a treat, you've now reinforced the proper behavior. If you wait 2 seconds and the dog lunges, now you're dealing with the wrong behavior. Let's talk about a best case scenario.
I like that.
Okay, so I have this early experience with this lovely couple. I worked with them years and years ago as a fairly new trainer, and they were both recently retired, and they decided to jump into pet ownership with both feet, both of them. It was brilliant. And I'm not going to suggest you all do this, folks, because this isn't for everyone. But this was the deal. They got 2 golden retriever puppies. They were 8 weeks old, and they got 2 kittens. All at the same time.
Well, that's your best case scenario by far.
Except you know what the deal was with them?
What?
They knew what they were doing, but they didn't trust their instincts, so they didn't commingle them.
Oh, no.
Right.
That's exactly
They kept the kittens apart from the puppies. When I got there, I started introducing them to each other.
Excellent.
Within 2 weeks, they were all best friends. I'd like to take a quick break, Dina, to introduce our newest show sponsor. Yeah, Dog Dish is proud to welcome the law offices of Lynn Johnson with a focus on family law since 1983. Lynn has been president of the Tacoma-Pierce County Bar Association and has won many awards for her work. She's recognized in the community for her expertise in helping clients achieve a peaceful resolution in domestic and relationship cases. She was an early advocate of collaborative law, and she's also an incredibly skillful litigator. Call the offices of Lynn Johnson today at 253-383-3333 for a 10% discount off your first consultation. Lynn Johnson, empowering her clients with caring education. Welcome to the show, Lynn.
I think we were going to round back around to what to do now with the dog. We spoke about the cat in the carrier. Mm-hmm. Just holding it in the carrier?
Yeah, we're basically making sure that it doesn't bolt. We're making sure that it's not harmed.
Okay.
And we're keeping the dog from being overly reactive by having it on a leash. And every time the dog looks at the cat, without doing anything negative, no lunging, no barking, no growling, no snarling, no snapping, any of these very unattractive behaviors, the second after it looks at the cat, we pop a treat in the mouth. And because you know what happens if we don't.
Right. We're going to reward the wrong behavior if we wait longer than a second.
Or we're going to see the wrong behavior.
And that's not going to end well.
Well, and in fact, what happens is inadvertently, by allowing that bad behavior to happen, we've just reinforced that, and the dog gets better at doing that. And by the way, the example before with the 2 cats, the 2 kittens, and the 2 puppies,
yes,
that's absolute lunacy. I don't want everybody to go out and think they have to do that. You don't.
No, but I will say it is much easier to bring kittens and puppies together to play.
That's true.
Than it is to bring older animals together.
That's true. And one of the things I think we didn't mention is there are many occasions when you're going to have to bring an adult cat into a house or an adult dog into a household that has adult cats. A deceased family member, or someone's moving and they can't take the animal with them, and you end up adopting it, which is a wonderful thing. And so what I want to suggest to you is that you start commingling them very, very slowly and very carefully. And you have that dog on the leash, and you start doing some of this work and keeping the animals apart and bringing them together when you're in the right frame of mind, and when the dog's had a bunch of exercise and has had the kind of stimulation that will keep it from being overly reactive. And folks, I've been brought in on many situations, and I have helped make it work. Hire a trainer who's got the background in desensitizing, counter conditioning, and understands how to teach and educate you so that you can do it when they're not there, and you can carry on this work. The one thing to understand about dogs, and cats too, but the dogs is what we know best, is that you have to work with them over a period of time. You can't just do one session and suddenly everything's fixed. The more you do, the more you reinforce that right behavior at the right time, the better your chances, Dina, that you will have success in the long term. The more reliability you have in that dog's behavior, the more secure you can feel that dog will behave the way you want it to.
Right, and one of my favorite ways to think about it is that try is in the word trial. So the more you try, the less you get to...
High five, Dina. That's awesome.
The less you have to try, at the end it becomes more natural.
Isn't she clever?
Well, I'm something. Well, Deborah, thank you so much for today's podcast.
Thank you too, Dina. This has been The Trouble Between Cats and Dogs on Dog Dish.
For 15 years, Good Citizen Dog has been the premier destination for dog training, dog daycare, dog boarding, and grooming services. Good Citizen uses the most modern, positive, reward-based training techniques. With our 2 locations in Western Washington and across the country, Good Citizen Dog is creating peaceful living with your dog. For more information about services or for franchise information, go to goodcitizendog.com. That's citizen with a Z. Or call 855-936-3649. That's 855-936-3649.